What's up, NACA family? Plenty to cover this week, so I'm just going to jump into it. Today being Sunday, November 23rd, the weekly update. Obviously, the number one thing that every one of you has, or so many of you have reached out about, talked about, I'm sure that it's the main talk of the control rooms, is the divisiveness of the bonus that was used for air traffic controllers, TMCs, flight service specialists, and many others that are covered by the slate book and that we represent from the shutdown. Let's get the facts straight, hit those, and then go into what we're doing. The facts are when the announcement first came via a tweet that they were going to incentivize air traffic controllers, your union immediately engaged with the Office of the Secretary of Transportation and with the administration, saying we were ready to sit down and have discussions around these bonuses. It's absolutely imperative that they talk to the very bargaining unit that represents each and every one of you. There would have to be a level of ownership, but there would have also been a level of understanding that people take annual leave and bid it 15 months in advance, that people had to go to either take a child to a cancer treatment, that people had a new baby that was coming into this world. And in no way, shape, or form should any of these people be overlooked. And it was not a fact of not the in any way knocking the 311 that were incentivized. It was a fact that it takes thousands of hardworking individuals to come in and endure a 44-day shutdown that not a single one of us asked for, that we advocated against, that we stayed in the media over 200 times, ensuring the world knows the work that you do day in and day out. So where we spoke about every time that we engaged, it was, we're going to see, we'll get back to you, we don't have any information. And then within a few hours, on, I think it was Friday, we got notification via email saying, we're putting it out. The secretary will announce that there is a $10,000 bonus, and it affects 311 people that you represent. We didn't have the names, and it was simply the notification thereof. That is a divisive tactic, absolutely to drive us apart, and in no way does it represent the hard work and especially the sacrifice that each of you went through for 44 days, whether it be for a myriad of reasons. And attendance should have never been used as a metric to go out and award people. And I'm glad that this agency does want to award our air traffic controllers. I'm glad that they do want to go in and recognize the aviation safety professionals, the TMCs, the flight service specialists, and continue to name them all, that do this job and hold this system together day in and day out. So knowing and understanding that for every one of you that are frustrated, where we need to point our frustration at is at the fact that they didn't even have and take the opportunity when they knew they could to engage the very union that represents you on this very bonus. So keep that in mind, and let's make sure that we express frustration and anger and point the fingers in the right direction. This had nothing to do with a union sitting back. This had everything to do with the agency deciding to make a unilateral action and move forward from there. So, but what will we do? We already filed an Article 7. That's the administrative side. We'll take a full briefing on everything that they did, everything that they stated, of how they came to this decision and how they made the determination, and what actions do we take from there? That's the administrative aspect of it, also defined in our collective bargaining agreement. The second part is that we absolutely reached out and said, okay, now let's sit down and talk about everybody else. And we'll take this opportunity to find every way to ensure that this workforce is recognized. And those who want to say that, it's only talks about equipment or it's only talks about staffing, those are two important parts. But it's also about making these moments, these opportunities, to where when the door opens, that we don't lose that momentum also. Everybody has seen the progress that we've been making in those directions. So everybody saw that this shutdown caused an absolute derailment from all the things that we were working on together. And now we have support on our side for it. So we will give this administration an opportunity. Let's sit down. Let's have those discussions. Let's ensure that we recognize all the work that is being done out there. And does that guarantee anything? Absolutely not. But does it give us another moment to capitalize on? It absolutely does. And when the media inquiries came in, we immediately jumped on them and made sure we responded. Myself and Mike Christine immediately did interviews back to back about this very topic and issue. And some of the things that you've seen corrected all the way from the shutdown just coming to fruition now, we give those interviews and we don't pick and choose what time that they come up, but you can see that every step of the way, we're engaged, we're leaning forward, and we're going to find ways to ensure that we represent you. And no, it shouldn't be a tactic like this to just represent a few because of attendance overall. So I could go on about it all day, but I know every regional FAC rep every regional vice president has gone out and either engaged the FAC reps or members via email or via town hall or via some type of phone call to ensure that once again, we don't turn and point our fingers internally when something is done to us unilaterally without engaging us when we were the ones saying, let's work together, let's find a way, let's engage. And none of that occurred or happened in this instance. So yes, we should all be frustrated. We should all be angry, but we should also know where to point the fingers. And that's something different that's changed. Where in the past, we would all stand together and say, that's completely unacceptable. We would go and ask the questions of management because we knew that this union wasn't the one to hold blame. We knew that this union wasn't the one to now try to answer the questions for it. But we've become so used and so, conditioned, or many have, that it's okay to say, well, it must be our internal fault. It's not our internal fault. We have to now work through these. And this will be the relationship, the ups and downs that we have. This will be what happens when we get this forward leaning, when we get this much in the media, when we deal with this many issues. But at least we're not sitting on the back burner with no answers, no information, and saying, is anybody listening to us at all? So much so that we got called in front of the Senate as well for a Senate hearing, and one that many people decided to somehow pull a clip from and say that had we just asked a magical person to get paid, well, then it would have been completely all right. If you're not seeing, this isn't amateur hour. So those who have never negotiated an agreement, stood in front of a manager, spoke to an issue, or somehow been part of a line of questioning, I understand. On the surface, these things may look like, oh my gosh, what are we out there saying, and what are we doing? This was a setup. And to know and understand that these setups are coming, it was to say that, oh, you didn't ask the right person? Well, that's because these Republicans hate you. I'm not going to give that moment to somebody else. I'll put it on record that somehow, if you need it outside of our 200 interviews that we did, that, yeah, we're requesting to be paid always. So much so that we went in and supported legislation immediately to ensure that it never happens again. From Senator Moran's bill, Senator Cruz's bill, Congressman Graves and Larson, and the bills that they're going to put forward for aviation to ensure that air traffic controllers and aviation safety professionals and all federal employees in a government shutdown absolutely get paid. So no, it wasn't going to fall in the trap of, well, had you just gone and you just asked the right person, maybe the Republicans would have paid you. Congress appropriates the funds. Congress needs to do their jobs, and they're the ones that need to not shut down this government in order for us to have to endure a period in time again with us not receiving any level of compensation for the amazing work that and the amazing job that you do day in and day out, shouldering and bearing the responsibility of a national airspace system that's completely understaffed, has unreliable equipment, and yes, that we continue to find ways to work on paying each and every one of you, and that you should be recognized, and that the modernization projects will bring us more opportunities, and that finding ways to make more CPCs and continuing to train will bring ways that we put the very money in their pockets that you continue to speak about, and that we all know and understand and stand with you all. But it's not just because you go and beg the right person. It's not because you just say it, to a group of individuals. It takes leadership in actually setting a path, direction for it, and that's finding the places that you can agree, getting the support behind you, and then capitalizing on those moments. And we will. Can't promise anything. We will absolutely capitalize on these moments, because if they want to recognize us, well, good. 311 was a start, and we'll continue working from there. So no, we won't be sitting on our hands. We'll continue to engage the membership. We'll continue to engage the leaders of this organization, and we'll continue to stand together. And those who attempt to divide us and those who attempt to stand against us, I'll tell you what, you'll never be successful, because you can never beat the resolve of those who are out working on the behalf of others and not sitting there saying the me, my, and I, and this is about me. No, this is about us, and this is about we, and we will find a way through it together. So stay united, stay focused, point the fingers in the right directions. It's not going to be easy. Said it time and time again, and maybe this was the moment that woke you up of like, wait, what? It's going to impact us, and I'm going to have to pay attention. Yep, I need you all on high alert. I need everyone focused. We need everyone paying attention right now. And we need your activism. We need the understanding and find ways to help one another, not find ways to tear each other apart. That's what they want. That's what makes them stronger. That's what makes it awarding 311 instead of all of us an absolute win for them. Don't turn into a win. We're glad they got recognized. Now it continues to work and fight for what everyone needs and what everyone deserves, and that we are the answers to the national airspace system, the future, and keeping America moving. So appreciate your time. Appreciate the opportunities to engage. Don't believe all the rhetoric. Your RVPs are always out there to ensure that you have the latest information as well. And I'll be here standing by your side every step of the way. You never have to doubt that. Take care. We'll talk again soon.